welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The spotlight is on these two leaders who have taken the right stand and quite literally in the fight against terrorism, and especially radical Islamic terrorism, and pledged to crush terror havens. That march and that walk hand in hand all around the NRG Stadium was not just bustling with energy, but it also talked about a chemistry that is redefining the equations between India and America and setting up on a pedestal the Indian-American community, thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and, of course, the endorsement that he's received from POTUS or President Donald Trump. Now, these are the aspects that were spoken about, and this is why Pakistan is worried, even as Imran Khan is going to be meeting President Donald Trump in a short while from now. As far as Article 370 and the revocation of Article 370, the moment Prime Minister Narendra Modi touched upon that or even indicated on that issue, it was what he received, a standing ovation, and we saw a glimpse of that just as we were setting up tonight's show and debate. But what was also important was lawmakers of the US, in the presence of Donald Trump, were also applauding. That is an indication, ladies and gentlemen, and it does come as a setback to those who are trying to push a totally different narrative. The Prime Minister is setting the record straight. Then, Trump talking about the fight against terror, his support to India's crushing terror that is trying to create problems on Indian soil was very, very critical. And of course, him coming out and saying that we will do everything to crush radical Islamic terror. And the indications were clear as to where it was all emanating and who was fomenting or backing it and giving them a safe haven. 9/11 to 26/11, the reference was made. Let's not forget that. Then also look at safeguarding borders. Trump telling Modi and of course the people that yes, we support India's need to safeguard its own borders just like we do too. Endorsement of India's right to guard its sovereignty. Very, very critical, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not the least, if you look at the Bonhomie, if you look at the kind of exchanges that came up, it sets a precedent and of course absolutely unconventional. Throwing away the playbook of diplomacy, that's what they've done. And it is very, very unique. And it crushes Pakistan's narrative of trying to garner support, international support on Kashmir, because somewhere, even though Donald Trump didn't openly say it, we could understand where he stood or who he stood with on this entire matter. Totally soaking up that atmosphere which talked about the fact that it was our matter, it was done properly with the help of the members of parliament. Donald Trump buying into Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Narendra Modi there talking about the support of the Indian American community for an America which was trying to turn around and do well under President Donald Trump. But it's the terror equation, the single uniform stand or a common platform about crushing terror havens that sets up the debate tonight on The Right Stand. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get into the debate. Thank you for joining us and thank you for taking the right stand as we dive into the debate. And even as we speak, Imran Khan has just completed a harrowing interview where he's made a few admissions which again make the headline and underline what India has been saying all along, that from 9/11 to 26/11, we knew who was giving shelter to the perpetrators, where the conspirators lie all this while. Sambit Patra, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us. Kamar Chima, strategic and political analyst, joining us from Pakistan. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash joins us this evening. Good to have you, sir. Foreign affairs analyst. And of course, Aman Thakkar, beg your pardon, foreign affairs analyst joining us. And Mr. Tariq Fatah has also taken the time out to take the right stand this evening. Thank you very much. Good to have you, sir, joining us all the way from Canada. I hope you are better now. I was told that you've not been keeping very well. I hope good health has come back to you, and I'm happy to see you. How would you see what has happened overnight? And also, let me start with you, Mr. Tariq Fatah. Also, what Imran Khan has just now admitted. He has come out and said that there were elements within the Pakistani army that sheltered Osama bin Laden on Pakistani soil.
Well, this is not the first time Mr. Imran Khan has spoken the truth about the ills of Pakistani establishment. He's talked very vocally about the genocide in Balochistan. He was one of the few who spoke about the genocide in East Pakistan. But for some reasons, I feel there is not just one Imran Khan, there are two Imran Khans. One, and he momentarily changes depending on the environment in which he is. If the military pushes him, he will revert back to his original position, to his dishonest position, which is to blame India for all the ills and blame the West and blame the non-Muslim world for the problems of the Muslim society. But in fact, if you corner him, if you meet him face to face, sometimes I have, he comes out as a very honest person. So perhaps in that lapse of honesty, he has blurted out something which is evident. It's like saying that the sky is blue. Nobody disputes the fact that the mastermind of 9/11 is a Pakistani. The mastermind of 26/11 is a Pakistani. The mastermind of massive killings in Afghanistan are Pakistanis. China knows what is happening. The Saudis know that Pakistan is not a dependable ally. The UAE has taken their hands off Pakistan. But the military remains a military-industrial complex. It's not out of some bravado that they want to maintain a front to fight. It is an industry. They are industrialists. They want to sell cornflakes. They have to sell cement. The Pakistan army sells cement to India, and India buys it. I sometimes wonder at the wisdom on the other side of the border. But Pakistan is a danger to world peace. The institution of Pakistan. Imran Khan will come and go, find another wife, come and go. That's not important. Right now what's important is that two prime ministers and a president are behind jail. And the military runs the country. Nawaz Sharif is in prison. Zardari is in prison. People are dying. The Pakistani people have fought military dictators to their credit. But no one has addressed the notion, why is it the people of Pakistan's destiny to be the quote-unquote fortress
He's
of Islam,
blaming it on the US today, Tariq Fatah.
Had nothing to do with Islam.
Mr. Tariq Fatah, he's
Pakistan,
blaming it. Imran Khan is blaming it on the US. He's saying it is the US that is responsible for the radicalization of Pakistan because we decided to ally and help them as far as Afghanistan is concerned in the 1980s. And that is why today they have turned their backs on us. We have lost so much of money, we have lost so many people, and we are now a radicalized country because of the US. That's what he's sitting there in New York and saying.
Well, anyone can blame anyone, but the 10% commission everyone gets out of a military venture is very lucrative. If you are into a $100 billion venture and 10% is for Pakistan's military generals and politicians, then why are you complaining about? Your sons didn't die. Your sons are safe in United Kingdom. Your other children are scattered all over the world. That's not the issue. It's ordinary people who've been sacrificed since 1947. Pakistan was a creation of the Anglo-British, the American-British notion of creating a buffer state between the USSR and India. And that's what it is. Now there's no purpose for this country. It's just an acronym. The people are without identity. All our ancestors were Hindu. We are told we are Arabs or Turks, and which we are not. We are just like everybody else. Kurukshetra, Lahore, Kesh, Love, all of Takshila, Mohenjo-daro, all that is Pakistan. India's root word is Sindh. So these contradictions affect even a person like Imran Khan. I'm sure he goes to sleep and says, what the hell is it? I'm born on the banks of the river Indus, and I'm not Indian. There must be something stupid or wrong that has gone on. And Muhammad Ali Jinnah did it, and we are suffering the last 70 years for that error. which was made by the Congress as well, by the way, by letting loose Ghaffar Khan. So we are paying the price, all of us are paying the price of a mistake made in 1947.
Yes.
And not till Pakistan is dismembered will this torture end.
Well, Qamar Chima wants to get in. I'm just going, my research team is also sending out, I just asked them, this admission by Imran Khan, which has come in today, that there were some links that were still there, and there were those within the army who did not like the shift in policy since 9/11, Qamar Chima. Imran Khan sitting there and admitting that Pakistan knew, and there were members of the Pakistan army that sheltered Osama bin Laden. So the perpetrators of 9/11 sheltered by Pakistan. This is admitted now by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So when the world calls you the epicenter of terrorism, sir, the allegation sticks. Qamar Chima.
Well, you're talking about the chemistry of President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. I think India must be on alert, because last time President Trump met with Prime Minister Imran Khan, the BJP had to give clarifications in Indian Parliament. So be careful when President Trump meets Prime Minister Imran Khan. This is a message for, I think, Sambit Patra Sahib. The second thing what you are saying is that if what happens if Imran Khan is saying, I have not heard Imran Khan's speech. I think he was speaking on Council on Foreign Relations. I have not heard, I was on the television. But I think what is important for me to understand that...
Okay, you want me to read out what he said? And I'm going to quote him. And I'm going to quote Imran Khan, Qamar Chima. Pak army trained Al-Qaeda before 9/11 attack. The policy, there were those, the links remained. We did try to investigate the question.
Never trained Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a terrorist organization,
this is your Prime Minister, sir. This is your Prime Minister. There will be Pak-Osama link. There will be Pak-Osama link when it comes to 9/11. Imran Khan's admission. Qamar Chima, this is your Prime Minister saying this. This is your Prime Minister in response to why did you not investigate Osama bin Laden being found on Pak soil? He says there was an investigation. He says Pak army trained Al-Qaeda till 9/11. Then he also goes on to say, sir, that there were links. The policy changed after 9/11. There still remain some links when it comes to 9/11. And then he says there were those in the army that were unhappy. Qamar Chima, this is what Imran Khan said. You said you did not know. There were those in the Pak army. There were those in the Pak army who were unhappy. There were those in the Pak army who were. There were those in the Pak army who were unhappy. There were those in the Pak army who were unhappy with the shift in policy. Sambit Patra. Now, does the world need any more proof, sir?
Yes.
Does the world need any more proof, sir? This is what... Now, Qamar Chima, let me bring in our other panelists. Qamar Chima, let me bring in our other panelists. I don't want to, sir, the Pak army mutes the civil and democratically elected government, but I would like to continue to be democratic here on the show. I request you to calm down. I don't want to mute you, sir. Let the Pak army do what it does with its Wazir Azam. We don't want to do that. So, please. They
have fought
please, sir, please. अब देखें, अब यहाँ देखें. The question that was asked. Question ये था in terms of your suspicion of the location of the world's most wanted man. You did have prior information, and information was shared with both civilian and military chain. Some people knew, people in the Pakistani army as well as in other forces, they also knew, and they were on the lookout for somebody of the stature of Osama bin Laden. This is Asif Ali Zardari. I'm going to come to the latest one, Sambit Patra, as I read out. This is what Imran Khan said on the 23rd of July 2019. We in Pakistan always felt that we were an ally of the US, and if we had been given information about Osama bin Laden, we should have taken him out. And yet, it was the ISI that gave information which led to the location of Osama bin Laden. If you ask the CIA, it was the ISI which gave the initial location through the phone connection. The CIA former CIA Director General David Petraeus says, we are quite convinced that the ISI, Pakistani intelligence, no one else knew that he was there in Pakistan. They were not harboring him or hiding him or anything like that. We have very good insights on that. We probably differ with those who said that the Pakistanis were allowing him to live in that particular compound in Abbottabad. Sir, this is what Donald Trump has tweeted in 2012. He says that for 6 years, Trump's position has been that for 6 years, they harbored this man and nobody knew. This is what Donald Trump has tweeted in 2012, and I'm reading this. When will Pakistan apologize to us for providing safe sanctuary to Osama bin Laden for 6 years? Some ally. This is Donald Trump. Today, sir, today Imran Khan says that there were links that remained despite the shift in policy post 9/11. We trained the Al-Qaeda. Pak army trained the Al-Qaeda till 9/11. He has said this today, sir. Now, Sambit Patra, India has always maintained that's the epicenter of global terrorism. Imran Khan says, yes, you are right.
See, Mr. Anand, as far as Pakistan today's discussion is concerned, there are two sides of today's discussion. One is the admissions by Mr. Imran Khan and the Pakistani dispensation, and the second is as to why these admissions are falling out of the cupboard now. Now, coming to the first part, that is the admission. Way back in 2012, if you would show an old speech of Mr. Imran Khan, which is even present in the YouTube, Mr. Imran Khan agrees largely to the fact that way back in 1971, I was standing with the Pakistani army, which was fighting to protect what was East Pakistan then. But later I realized that it was a story of butchery. Later I realized that the Pakistan army was conducting genocide in the so-called East Pakistan in today's Bangladesh. And then he continues to say that Pakistan has in fact continued with its genocide policy in Balochistan and other areas where we are not fighting an army. We are fighting our own civilians. We are killing our own civilians.
Right.
This is what Mr. Imran Khan says in 2012. Now, at the earliest, what Mr. Imran Khan has admitted, Mr. Imran Khan went to Mr. Trump. Recently, if you would remember, he was not picked up. He was in a metro and he was to travel by a bus. Then he went with a begging bowl to Mr. Trump and he's conceded. He said that, well, yes, there are 30,000 to 40,000 terrorists who are holed up in Pakistan right now. And all the former presidents, prime ministers, and all the former dispensation of Pakistan, they were lying to the world and to America. They were not disclosing this. So it is all in record. It was as recent as last month. Then recently when he was in Russia, Mr. Imran Khan, he gives out an interview where he says that hum hi log wo the jinhone mujahideen banaye and we send out terrorists to Russia to destroy Russia. He agrees to this. And now suddenly he has conceded that, well, yes, there was a Balakot attack. India had bombed Pakistan, and then initially he was saying that only a couple of trees were destroyed and a few birds had to fly away from there. Now he concedes that they were really bombed in Balakot and terrorists were the ones who have been killed. So why all these admissions?
Right.
You have to understand that next month you have a plenary session of the FATF in Paris, in fact, in France.
Right.
So Paris, France is going to see to it that Pakistan moves from the grey zone to the dark zone, that is the black zone. And that is the reason as to why, without doing anything, it is nothing but sounding the drums. They would not do anything. In fact, you would be astonished, Mr. Anand, that the UN designates 100 terrorists in Pakistan. But out of these 100 terrorists, the list of which has been submitted to Pakistan by the FATF, Pakistan up till now has only acted against 4. That too, it's a hogwash. It has not really acted. So they will not act. They will not do anything. They will only beat the drum of admission, thinking that probably the world will save them, the world will pardon them. But that is gone. Enough water has passed under the bridge now. Yesterday in the Howdy Modi program, what has
Sambit
happened
Patra,
is phenomenal,
Imran Khan's
is
allegation
historic.
is, Imran, sorry to interrupt you. Imran Khan's allegation is that it is India that is pushing for the FATF blacklisting. It is India which has got FATF blacklisting on the agenda, and it is India that is painting Pakistan as a hub of terror, despite it being Imran Khan who went ahead. The last time he was around on US soil, he said there are 30 to 40,000 militants or terrorists operating on Pakistani soil. It was his quote, sir, not mine. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, I'm just bringing you in also along with Aman Thakkar. Sambit Patra, I'll come back to you, sir. I'll circle back to you. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, today
yes,
he lays the Pakistani army on the sacrificial altar, and I'm going to read out his full quote for the benefit of Kamar Chima and everybody else. The question asked, Osama was found and killed by US troops in Abbottabad. Why no investigation? Imran Khan, we had an investigation, but I will say the Pakistan army trained Al-Qaeda before 9/11. So there were always going to be links. Many in the army didn't agree with the policy change post 9/11. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, what do you make of this answer, sir?
Well, it is very simple. It is too little too late. It is a floundering, drowning person clutching at straws, nothing more, nothing less. Pakistan is run by the armed forces, whether they are in de facto power or de jure power. Like it or not, the fact remains that Mr. Imran Khan is a creation of the army, and they love to speak with the folk tongue. So yes, from the US soil, he can say things in English. I am always reminded of what friends tell me in the Middle Eastern region, that anything said in English in a foreign soil, at a foreign soil, means nothing unless said in Arabic within the Arab world. So you will find that there will be denials, they'll say there is miscommunication, etc., etc. But let's face it, unfortunately, our neighbor has gone so deep down the rabbit hole of terrorism that they are a narco state, they are a failing state, they are a terror state, and they are in denial. Now, we all remember, I vividly recall the footage where I think it was 2005 when General Musharraf, the all-powerful General Musharraf, stood in the White House lawns and said, Osama bin Laden is not on the American soil. So it is not just elements. I mean, the whole system is in it. And now they say that ISI had tipped them off. Well, I must be Santa Claus if ISI tipped them off, but that's the character of our neighbor. But unfortunately, whatever happens, they continue to be in denial. And lastly, Anand, yes, we want Pakistan to be declared to be a terror state because it is a terror state. Because we are facing the music. It's our neighbor. So where the shoe pinches. And yes, if I were to take a decision, I will certainly do everything possible to have Pakistan blacklisted by FATF because they deserve to be blacklisted.
Sir, the South Asia Terrorism Portal at this point in time, says the terror groups in Pakistan operating are 46. 46 terror groups operating in Pakistan, 12 domestic groups, 32 transnational groups, 4 extremist groups. This is the number that SATP is officially announcing. Then Imran Khan says 30 to 40,000 terrorists in Pakistan.
And he also said that the same thing in Washington last July, that there were, if I remember right, that there are 41 terror groups. So whether it is 41, whether it is 46, whether it is 146, the thing is very simple. That it's a terror state, it has a terror infrastructure, and lastly, Anand, when they say that it was the US which pushed them into on this path, I mean, is Pakistan a small state? It's one of the large countries. Why didn't they say no? I mean, to blame is very easy. It takes two to tango. All right, US did it to get Soviet Union out, but who played ball? Who got the billions of dollars? Who used the resources which they got from US against India? I mean, they can remain in denial, but the point is that they are on a self-destructive path. My heart goes down to the Pakistani people who are like us. They want development, they want progress. At the end of the day, I really hope and pray that may good sense prevail on our neighbor.
Tariq Fatah, I'll come to Aman Thakkar in just a bit. Tariq Fatah wanted to say something. I'm just going to read this out, Mr. Tariq Fatah, as I come across to you. The United States has foolishly given Pakistan more than $33 billion in aid over the last 15 years. And they have given us nothing but lies and deceit, thinking of our leaders as fools. They gave a safe haven to the terrorists we hunt in Afghanistan with little help. No more. This is Donald Trump's New Year tweet on the 1st of Jan 2018 at 5:42 p.m. US time. This is what he's put out.
The thing I want to clarify is that Pakistan itself is not like a country that you can visualize, like Afghanistan or Iran or Nepal or Bhutan. Pakistan is itself an occupying power over its own constituents and its neighbors. You have to understand, Balochistan was an independent country invaded by Pakistan, occupied. You have to understand today, just I think day before yesterday, the members of parliament from the Pashtun tribal areas were just released on bail after 4 months in prison for doing nothing. The entire Pashtun movement is separatist. In Sindh, the Sindhu Desh movement is alive and well. Just next week, there's going to be a large demonstration in New York. I will be there with my Sindhu Desh friends. Pakistan is a phenomena where a single state, which is Punjab, occupies its neighboring states. And that occupation is known by the acronym Pakistan, which is hardly Pak in any form. Its death was written in 1971, and I'm surprised that India still recognized Pakistan as a country, because Pakistan died in Dhaka. There was no link. And I really feel that Indians gave away a golden opportunity to assert to Pakistan, you will have no more than 100 tanks, 10,000 soldiers for your annual parade, and stick to that. And we won't get entertained by anything. Instead, you send back the 90,000 soldiers who conducted a civil war in Balochistan, killing tens of thousands of Baloch citizens, which are still dying today. And I hope that Mr. Modi goes to the general...
Mr. Tariq Fatah, going across to Prime Minister Modi speaking at the Climate Summit.
UN Secretary General for organizing the Global Climate Action Summit. After having received the Champion of the Earth award last year, this is my first opportunity to address the United Nations. And it is a happy coincidence that the subject of my first meeting in New York is climate. Excellencies,
climate change को लेकर दुनिया भर में
various efforts are being made by different countries to fight climate.
अनेक प्रयास हो रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें यह बात स्वीकारनी होगी कि इस गंभीर चुनौती का मुकाबला करने के लिए उतना नहीं किया जा रहा है जितना कि होना बहुत अनिवार्य है। आज जरूरत है एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव अप्रोच की, जिसमें एजुकेशन, वैल्यूज और लाइफस्टाइल से लेकर डेवलपमेंट फिलॉसफी भी शामिल हो। आज जरूरत है बिहेवियरल चेंज के लिए एक विश्वव्यापी जन आंदोलन खड़ा करने की। प्रकृति का सम्मान और नेचुरल रिसोर्स का संरक्षण ये हमारी परंपरा और वर्तमान प्रयासों का हिस्सा रहा है। नीड, नॉट ग्रीड, हैज बीन अवर गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल। और इसलिए आज भारत इस विषय पर सिर्फ बात करने नहीं, बल्कि एक व्यवहारिक सोच और रोड मैप के साथ आया है। We believe that an ounce of practice is worth more than a ton of preaching. हम भारत में के फ्यूल मिक्स में नॉन फॉसिल फ्यूल की हिस्सेदारी बढ़ा रहे हैं। हम 2022 तक रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में अपनी कैपेसिटी को 175 गीगावाट तक ले जा रहे हैं और आगे हम इसे 450 गीगावाट तक ले जाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। हम अपने परिवहन क्षेत्र में ई मोबिलिटी को प्रोत्साहन दे रहे हैं। हम पेट्रोल और डीजल में बायोफ्यूल की मिक्सिंग की बड़ी मात्रा में बढ़ोतरी कर रहे हैं। हमने 150 मिलियन परिवारों को क्लीन कुकिंग गैस कनेक्शन दिए हैं। हमने वाटर कंजर्वेशन, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग और वाटर रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट के लिए मिशन जल जीवन शुरू किया है और अगले कुछ वर्षों में इस पर लगभग $50 बिलियन का खर्च करने की हमारी योजना है। एक्सेलेंसीज, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच की बात करें तो लगभग 80 देश हमारी इंटरनेशनल सोलर की पहल के साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। मुझे प्रसन्नता है कि भारत और स्वीडन अन्य पार्टनर्स के साथ मिलकर इंडस्ट्री ट्रांजिशन ट्रैक के लीडरशिप ग्रुप का लॉन्च कर रहे हैं। यह पहल सरकारों और निजी क्षेत्र को साथ लेकर इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए लो कार्बन पाथवेज बनाने में अहम भूमिका अदा करेगी। वैश्विक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नेचुरल डिजास्टर्स का सामना कर सके, इसके लिए भारत कोएलिशन फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिस्टेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की शुरुआत कर रहा है। मैं सभी मेंबर स्टेट्स को इससे जुड़ने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं। इस साल भारत के स्वतंत्रता दिवस 15 अगस्त को हमने सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक से मुक्ति के लिए जन आंदोलन का आह्वान किया है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि इससे वैश्विक स्तर पर सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक के खिलाफ जागरूकता और बढ़ेगी। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे आपको बताते हुए प्रसन्नता है कि यूएन की इस इमारत में कल हम भारत द्वारा लगाए गए सोलर पैनल्स का उद्घाटन करेंगे। द टाइम फॉर टॉकिंग इज ओवर। द वर्ल्ड नीड्स टू एक्ट नाउ। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Short, sharp and very effective and totally action-oriented. India is telling the world what it wants to do, take the lead as far as climate change is concerned, and also delivering on the SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals in terms of open defecation. We've mapped and breached a 15-year target in the last 5 years itself, and that's so phenomenal. It's a phenomenal achievement via the Swachh Bharat movement. And now the Prime Minister coming out and saying that close to 3.5 lakh crore rupees has been identified to ensure Har Ghar Nal and Har Ghar Jal. Coming back to the debate here on the right stand is about the time for talk is over. It's time to act and take decisive action. That's again not just in terms of climate change, but also in terms of combating and countering terror havens. And today, with the admission of Imran Khan, the point is proven, ladies and gentlemen. But here's a quick tip into what the Prime Minister said. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said last evening on terrorism and on Pakistan.
भारत अपने यहां जो कर रहा है उससे कुछ ऐसे लोगों को भी दिक्कत हो रही है जिनसे खुद अपना देश संभल नहीं रहा है। अमेरिका में 9/11 हो या मुंबई में 26/11 हो, उसके साजिशकर्ता कहां पाए जाते हैं?
The answer to that question came from Imran Khan today, ladies and gentlemen. Aman Thakkar, is this not decisive? Before I go back to Dr. Sambit Patra, as Tariq Fatah was saying, Pakistan itself is now splitting into fragments, and that was what was hinted at by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The world today stands with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Today, Imran Khan is sitting there and sheepishly giving an interview where he's looking haggard. He's saying, I've got so much of worry, I may get a heart attack. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is standing at the UNGA, at UN, beg your pardon, and he's saying, we are going to be inaugurating the solar panels, which will now be a part of the UN headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, diplomatically, you can see that, looking side by side at both Prime Ministers, Prime Minister Khan and Prime Minister Modi, one is playing on the back foot, as you said, Prime Minister Khan, while our Prime Minister Modi is playing on the front foot. You can see that, in the upcoming diplomatic meetings they're going to have, Prime Minister Khan will have to grapple with, a failed attempt at internationalizing Kashmir at the UN HRC in Geneva last month. He'll try to do that again at the UNGA and likely will face limited, success in that. And then he'll have to go to the FATF, where Pakistan is lagging behind on all 27 indicators set out by the FATF. Meanwhile, India is after the successful event with Howdy Modi, with Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, India will be going into an international arena where it will be known for climate change. We'll be meeting with the four foreign ministers of the Quad. We'll have successful bilateral and multilateral meetings, and then we'll be going on to a progressive and successful agenda for the international community. I think that ultimately defines the direction that both countries have taken and the success and failures of Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Khan, respectively.
Well, and Dr. Patra, as I come back to you and Kamar Chima, for those who said, I have not heard Imran Khan, we never trained Al Qaeda. Please listen to what Imran Khan had to say. If you can quickly play that, and then I'll bring in Dr. Patra. We'll try and play that out in just a bit. But Dr. Patra, now with 40 deliverables which were asked of by the FATF blacklist, the FATF, and them saying that you have not yet delivered on it, with Imran Khan admitting, yes, we sheltered and we knew that Osama was in Pak soil, with him admitting that there are 30 to 40,000 militants in our country, with their confirmation that there are at least 41 jihadi tanzeems, what is stopping the world from blacklisting Pakistan?
No, in fact, that's happening. And we have seen as to how Pakistan gradually has been cornered. In fact, Pakistani dispensation, Pakistani ministers and Imran Khan himself is agreeing to the fact that Pakistan is in a poor condition right now. Mr. Qureshi, their MEA, Minister of External Affairs, only a few days ago came out and said that, well, yes, no one is waiting. No one is waiting with a garland for Pakistan. No one is ready to heed to what Pakistan says. While everyone is listening to India, everyone is ready to heed to what India is saying. This is what the difference is today. In fact, there was a time when Pakistan was perpetually in denial. Now, finally, Pakistan has woken up to the fact that they have been struck to a corner. They have been thrown to a corner, and that's the reason as to why there's no other way out. We have an Imran Khan confessing. We have Mr. Qureshi confessing almost every and we have a mad minister there from the railways who says that hamare paas aadha pav ka nuclear bomb hai, hum wo pek denge. And then the biggest confession of Mr. Imran Khan was recently when he said, if at all a conventional war takes place and we are defeated, then we would use the nuclear weapon. So he had even conceded to the fact that if a conventional war breaks out, which India is not in favor of, which he himself talks about, then also Pakistan is not going to win.
Right.
So where Pakistan stands today, why it stands today is something which all of Pakistan knows. But the irony is none of them act. I would just conclude by saying and borrowing a phrase from what Mr. Modi was right now speaking in UN about the climate change, that enough of time has lapsed while we are talking. Now it is time of action. So
right.
I believe in the global front also, like Mr. Modi and Mr. Trump mentioned yesterday, we have to emerge for a nirnayak ladai against Atangwad, for a decisive battle and fight against terrorism.
Right. Imran Khan says he wants to fight poverty at a time when the world is looking at India, and India is setting examples of how to take the lead and how we can work towards helping everyone. He is busy sorting out the prices of roti and naan in his country. That's the reality. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, and to all our panelists, I'm sorry I'm over time. The Prime Minister's speech is cut into our debate time, but it was also important that we cut across what the Prime Minister had to say at the climate session. I thank you all. As we wind up debate number one, here's what we believe here on The Right Stand. It's the biggest admission by Imran Khan that the Pak army helped shelter. And there were links with the perpetrators of 9/11 and post 9/11. Imran Khan's admission confirms India's claim that Pakistan is a terror haven. Imran Khan also admits that there is a parallel regime run by the army / the establishment in his answers sitting in New York today. India's position that Pakistan is the epicenter of global terrorism reaffirmed. And while the world engages with India, Pakistan finds itself isolated as a terror hub and staring at a blacklist by